I'm Wayward, and this is Command & Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath, Community Patch 1.02 Plus, the R16 version. I'm looking at a 1 versus 1 today between Asian and Norway, who I will be calling Norway during this cast. In the bottom left is the green GDI, and at the top right as the yellow nod. Nope, I knew I was going to do that. As the yellow black hand is Senna. Senna coming out with this Confessor Cabal after initially getting a hand of nod to train these two saboteurs to, of course, get the Tiberium spikes for that income over time. I have people of all sorts of interests who follow my stuff, so sometimes I kind of explain the basics a little bit for people who might not be as in the know. Little combat going on over here in the center of the map. That Confessor Cabal meeting two rifleman squads and losing. Looks like there's one and a bit left. Down in the bottom left, Norway has gone for a very standard build. You see this a lot of the time in the replays that people post to command post. It's the refinery followed by the war factory followed by a bunch of harvesters. Meanwhile, Senna in the top right, getting out a raider buggy, probably for scouting, possibly for harassment. Speaking of harassment, we have Norway building a foxhole right up here next to the Nod vehicle factory, and able to do a little bit of damage there. Fights going on all over. Another foxhole coming up, and a Confessor Cabal actually damaging this power plant, trying to do a little bit of harass there. Actually, the raider buggy joining in. Meanwhile, in Senna's base, we have that continued harass by the foxhole, and I'm sure you saw a second ago, Senna actually moved his MCV over to set up the opportunity to start harvesting from his second field, as of course in the bottom did Norway, who's doing exactly the same thing, moving his MCV a little bit closer, and there it goes, unpacking. Continuing to harass this power plant, actually, and Norway making the right call, getting a single, what is that thing called? Gosh, Pitbull, out to push the raider buggy away, and Senna pulling it backwards, doing that reverse move. Over here, we have that foxhole continuing to plink away at the war factory, a little annoying for sure. Looks like another foxhole up here that actually does have a rifleman in it who's not doing anything. I say that, of course, just as he begins attacking the refinery. So Senna does have his refinery established, a couple of pit bulls coming up. Turret cell for that immediate Confessor Cabal squad. We do have some bikes to push back these pit bulls. One of them gets taken out. Senna doing a great job of keeping that wonderful combination of harass, expansion, and defense going. Little pit bull versus nod fight over here. Another turret sell-off for that immediate Confessor Cabal. Not entirely sure the reasoning behind that. I assume it's because the pit bulls are worse against the Confessor Cabals. I'm not entirely sure. Norway really keeping Senna on his toes, attacking, continuing to deal damage to this war factory that's actually going to cost some money to finish repairing. Meanwhile, more damage coming in. It looks like we may have actually had a harvester taken out, because I see a little patch of Tiberium there. MCV moving. Interesting. Just scooting that build radius a little bit. Going double war factory, although this one might get sold off. Ooh, nice attack here with these very fast pit bulls, able to take out looks like two harvesters, two blackhand harvesters, before he is pushed back. This time keeping the turret set up. I don't know if that's an oversight or if that's intentional. This foxholes are being really annoying. It looks like that war factory has finally been moved. No, we've got 3 war factories actually. Interesting to see what Senna's plan is here. I have not had a chance for a little while to look at Norway's base. This is a large tier 1 force running into a couple of Predator tanks. The I was going to say the Predator tanks by themselves weren't that much, but with these pit bulls in here, these Nod vehicles definitely have to get out of there. Not enough Nod firepower to deal with this force. Let me take a quick look. Some combat is still kind of going on. The tanks got out of position and were sniped. Pit bulls trying for another harvester snipe may actually get a nope. Pulling back as those Nod forces get into position. One attack bike almost murdering itself by getting out of position. Down in Norway's base, he's got his command post tier 2. He's got, looks like, 2 war factories. Yep, about mined out of this natural Tiberium field, or starting Tiberium field. The natural is doing pretty well at the moment. Trying to catch all this combat. This Nod force is incredibly large. I think the GDI have enough armor, though, to deal with it adequately. Just a lot of explosions going down. Sometimes this game can be a little hard to read just due to all the distortion effects and big flashy explosions. It looks like the Nod force has been mostly cleaned up. The Confessor Cabal is doing a little bit of incidental damage, and a couple of those bikes being able to get out of there. So, looks like Norway took the better of that engagement. Meanwhile, we have another pit bull run by. There's not much here to defend these harvesters, and I think another 2 harvesters get taken out by the pit bulls before Senna can respond and drive them away. So, this continued harass of Senna's economy is going to hurt him. The pit bulls actually managed to get some of them out. Meanwhile, the main GDI force is running right into the middle of Senna's base. This is a lot of Predator tanks, and there's not a lot here to stop this. Those 3 factories we had before have been sold. The laser turret will, I think, help push this back. Meantime, Senna has pulled up to his 3rd Tiberium patch, getting out Secret Shrine and going for infantry, so I think that is a fun play. Could be hard to maneuver around the map with this many infantry squads, but massed infantry can do a tremendous amount of DPS. The first couple of matches I watched and commentated, I was constantly underestimating the power of massed infantry. Looks like Pit Bull's cleaning up, or starting to work on cleaning up this Tiberium spike. The other one still alive, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a very quick look. Yeah, both of Norway's are still intact. Another combat here between these flame-wielding Black Hand troops and the GDI tanks. Looks like the tanks are going to have enough, especially with these APCs coming up, but the infantry squad army doing a reasonably effective job of taking care of the actual armor. Meanwhile, this Tib spike is down. Big loss there in terms of potential long-term income for Senna. Norway still kind of keeping control of the pace of the game. This whole time, Senna's kind of been reacting to the harassment, to the pressure. Still didn't actually clean up this first field. In the meantime, we do have some infantry coming out down here. It looks like it's all rocket squads, so this rifleman will be able to put the hurting on that. And Norway has expanded and is going hammerheads, which is going to be very, very annoying for his Nod Black Hand opponent. So that is interesting. We'll have to see what comes of this mass hammerhead. Real quick, let's just look for tech structures. We still have the command post. This little army down here is doing some harassment in return. I think that refinery is going to go down. No, it's sold off, as is this power plant. So very nice response by Norway. This is actually a pretty large force, even though it's dispersed. Trying to keep an eye. Looks like both of Senna's Tib spikes have been cleaned up. Senna really committing hard to infantry. Looks like he's going... Okay, just the 2 right now, and I don't see a single vehicle factory or air building. In fact, the Secret Shrine has also been sold off. So Senna really trying to make this infantry approach work. Now, these missile squads, or whatever they're called, militant rocket squads, a GDI harvester taken out. We'll be able to attack the hammerheads, so this is not going to be super one-sided. This is a lot of harvesters, though, so Norway going to be getting a lot of income, was not really harassed. Actually moving his MCV up to the Nod's main, which he's holding with these pit bulls, to try to... this army is apparently not being attack moved, they're just kind of moving, so a lot of infantry squads going down, and there's just a little bit of confusion here with Senna's attack move, I think. Meantime, these hammerheads going right for the economy. We do have some SAM sites up, but that is not going to save the refinery, and actually the SAM site itself is going to go down to this really large massed army of hammerheads, just being incredibly brutal right here. So, like I said, the entire time, this entire match, Norway has kind of dictated the pace, and Senna has been on the defensive. Now with a single war factory getting out some mantises for the anti-air. It's actually a really, really powerful anti-air unit, but I think it's only good for anti-air. I don't think it can do anything at all against ground targets. No ground attack. That is correct. Oh, it does detect stealth. Not that that helps too much against the GDI. So let's take a quick look at the current state of the game. There's not much going on anywhere except for each player's third base. They've sold off a lot of the stuff that they're not using. Actually down to one airfield as well. There is some tech here. Not entirely sure what Senna's plan is at the moment. Right now, Norway looking pretty good, able to get this refinery up and running, getting some light defenses. Not really anything going on here. He is keeping Senna away from these resources, though, with these tanks. And if Senna does come out here to take this resource field back, he's going to have a little bit of a fight. And of course, Norway is going to get some warning. Right now, Norway is basically sitting on all the resources. We had some support power going on here. I don't know exactly what it was. I imagine it's something that boosts the attack power of the infantry. Senna's still going for this infantry army. It's not terrible, but I don't know that it's going to be super responsive against these hammerheads. Moving that MCV back out, probably trying to take this last Tiberium-rich area away from Norway. I think that's probably his only real move at this point. He could maybe try to capture everything else. Oh, and the hammerheads in Senna's base wreaking havoc. Tremendous DPS from these clumped up units, taking out power plant after power plant. The SAM site, I don't know if it does area damage, but if it does, that's the only way that this is going to really hold that off too well. We have some buggies, but they're not phenomenal anti-air, it looks like. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we have this enormous infantry ball going against rather limited tank numbers. The tanks can, of course, crush the infantry, and they're going right for the densest part of the ball, but actually managing to make really short work of all of this. Laser fencing going up, so Norway can try to save this MCV. The rocket squad's actually dealing really well with these hammerheads. Hammerheads not designed to take that kind of punishment. I think this this MCV is in definite danger, this Kanyard. I'm not entirely sure what Norway is going to be able to do to put the kibosh on this. The harvester is actually being used to get infantry infantry quashes, as they say. We do have 2 barracks going up, but there's already a lot of infantry, and we have the MCV coming up, so it can support with additional production as needed, or defenses. I really love that goofy spider. I think I've said that before. A bit of a stalemate here, making use of the laser fencing and the watchtowers to actually put up a decent fight. Senna, I think, does have the numbers to take this still. Does have... oh, got an ops center. Just sold it off, as I mentioned that he had it. Let's take a quick look. Got fights going on all over the place, but I want to see if someone's hiding tech. I don't see tech anywhere. It's still just kind of this continued fight over this Kanyard. The fight looks like maybe it got a little too expensive for Senna. He is pulling back, setting up new production. But the advantage right now for... we have a bunch of laser turrets coming out. I do love seeing this sort of play. This is part of what makes Command & Conquer so unique to me, where you have the ability to kind of use your main base structure so aggressively. And it's a big commitment to do this sort of turret play. And it looks like it's paying off because these APCs, even though they do have AP ammo, at some point I guess there was tier 3. And I missed it. It must have come up very briefly for the research and then was sold off. Unless it's hidden, literally hidden somewhere. We do now have another war factory up here, right in range of the turrets, unfortunately, for Norway. And actually sent out long-distance mining this patch. Right now, Senna is the closest to active resources. A lot of watchtowers coming up, and with AP ammo, they actually do pretty good damage. That one goes down thanks to that AP ammo, APC it looked like. But right now, Senna is in a really strong position. If he was able to kind of pull back from this and set up more resourcing here, this is currently the most fully filled spot on the map, and his structures are kind of the closest to it. I don't know why there's a scanner sweep going on here, possibly for an Orca bombardment, maybe. I don't see any more hammerheads, so I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so we do have tier 3 up, and we have a juggernaut. Where's the tier 3? Seriously. Where did he put it? Where did he hide it? Okay, it came up over here, it looks like. But the sonic emitter and the juggernauts forcing Senna to pull back. So those juggernauts were kind of, it's dancing, it looks like. Kind of came out just in the nick of time. We got the sonic emitters, we have only two, but still two juggernauts. So Senna kind of changing targets, and looks like he's going to try to pick off the tier 2, possibly. It looks like that's where he's aiming, or possibly this kind of production and tech area. We do have 2 hammerheads, it looks like, but I think the big threat, of course, right now are these juggernauts, of which there are now 3. So this is pretty intense for Senna's infantry-focused kind of tier 1 army to handle. Construction Yard is in grave danger right now, actually. Very, very close to going down. And with these juggernauts getting into range, this could be very, very bad for the poor MCV. On its last legs, trying desperately to escape, this Hand of Nod actually being set up to, I think, partially to take shots for the MCV, so the juggernauts can't actually target the MCV through the Hand of Nod. So this is not going to be an easy fight for Senna. Juggernaut has the tech advantage, and this is, you know, a pretty good composition against this light infantry army. Things looking pretty desperate for Senna right now. Just doesn't really have anything that's good against juggernauts. Do have the Kanyard got healed up, I think, by a saboteur. We do have more infantry coming out with double Hand of Nod production, but man, these juggernauts and hammerheads is going to make it really, really hard for anything significant to be done right now. Hammerheads taking the wrong approach and pathing right through that infantry army. APCs coming in, of course, to handle those rocket squads. Brutal and merciless. Norway kind of just resting on his laurels right now. Oh, looks like Senna just called the loss. Just was not able to make anything happen. So the graphs kind of tell the story. I don't know if you saw a second ago. But I mean, Senna with huge army numbers against Asian and Norway's kind of much lower numbers, but Asian and Norway was laser targeting his army to Senna's weaknesses, and he kept Senna on the back foot the entire game. Again, here, you know, Senna getting a decent sized base, but then losing all of his structures again and again and again. Very bad for him, of course. And over time, I think this is probably right here is where Norway was able to take over that that one Tiberium field and just kind of mine it out, while Senna had basically nothing to work with and was stuck on infantry. There was one or two spots where it really looked like Senna could pull off the win, but I feel like the whole game Norway was kind of controlling the pace of things, and I think that really showed in the end. Anyway, this has been Wayward, and this has been 1.02 plus R16 Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.